rise and start shining. A Breaking Chains podcast is here to inspire and motivate you to break the chains that bind you. Our goal is to help you achieve personal and professional growth by bringing insightful content, interviews, and stories that are geared towards increasing your awareness of self-worth and value. Join hosts Jeff Walsh and Aaron Ferguson as they take you on an experience that helps you achieve a new mindset, resulting in a life that explores and reaches its fullest potential. Change your mind, change your life. Let's go.
Well, you just have me today. Wanted to just wish Aaron some good vibes, some good energy. Aaron is not feeling well, so Aaron could not make it with us today. And so for all my guests who love to send good energy and stuff like that, if we could all just send Aaron some healing energy and some love. Unfortunately, Aaron will not be able to make it. So you are stuck with me tonight, and I'm looking forward to sharing some information, and I'm going to try to take some comments maybe in the comment section as well throughout the 3 hour or so. But I want to share a story tonight that I haven't spoken about often, right? A lot of my story, a lot of people know, right, from corporate America to homelessness and drug addiction and everything like that. But a lot of people haven't heard the story of how I am where I'm at and the struggles that have been from 2016 to now, right? So I'm going to share a little bit about my failures on my healing journey on the journey to get to where I am today. I'm going to share how failure caused heartache and really created a lot of struggle in my own life, but how through those failures I have learned to use them to get to where I'm at, and what ultimately has become a part of my message, right? Which has become a part of who I am, of really understanding that it's really an inside job, right? This life that we are living is an inside job. And when we learn to really understand and engage with our inner awareness and understand that we are co-creating our reality through our thoughts and our emotions and through our imagination and through our beliefs about ourselves, right? So through my struggles of healing, I've come to understand this in a deep way. And I want to share a little bit about that tonight. So in 2018, I had been really on a healing journey. After getting out of prison in 2016, I had been on a healing journey for a couple of years. And I was living in upstate New York, and I was selling cars, trying to rebuild my life, and really just beginning to get deeply into the understanding of kind of reprogramming my subconscious and changing my mindset about my own personal beliefs about myself and really learning to love myself. I was kind of in that beginning process, but there was this longing to be near my children. Like, it was a deep longing because I was still living in New York. My children were still in California, and I so badly wanted to be near my children. And so in 2018, I decided to pack up my car with just a couple $1,000s in my pocket and move across country to California in hope and in belief that I could build something and that I could create sustainability in California, in Southern California, near my children, and I could be present in their lives. And so that's what I did. I packed up my car with all the hope and all the belief and all the possibility, and I moved out to California. And when I got out to California, like I said, I only brought a couple $1,000s. You know, in my mind, I was like, I'm going to make this work because I just wanted so badly right? To be near my children. I wanted so badly to be the father that they needed. I wanted so badly to heal and mend the wounds that I had created through my addictions. And I got out to California and I was forced to really kind of live in my car for a couple days as I tried to get up enough money and just really struggling to get a job. And I finally, in June of 2018, after I'd been out there for about a week, I finally got a job selling cars. I got a job selling cars and I was super excited, right? This was like my new chance. So I was able to right away get a motel, and I started going to this job and I started selling cars, and I became successful at selling cars for this dealership really quick. Like I really started doing well because it's always been a gift of mine to sell and to do well once given the opportunity. And I really started to rebuild my life, rebuild my relationship with my children. And so for the next few months, it would have been July, August, September, and until the end of October, I was doing really well. Well, in the state of California, unlike New York, you need a sales license in order to sell automobiles. And so when I moved to California, I went and I applied through the DMV, and they give you a temporary sales license until they do the research of your background. And I knew I had some issues with my background, but here I was, a man had changed his life, really trying to change his life, really trying to make a difference in his life and do the things that were necessary. And I believed that I was going to get my sales license. So I start doing really well. I move into an apartment, I buy furniture, I buy a brand new car, like life is looking good. I'm building some friendships and things like that. And, this is when I actually started talking about being a life coach, right? This is when I actually started talking about being a life coach and all of that stuff. This is when I really started having that yearning to help people transform their lives. And yet I was selling cars. And so what happened was one day in October, I walked in to my job. And remember, now I'm in my kid's life now for a few months. I just got into an apartment. I just bought a brand new car, right? I was making really decent money selling cars. Like life was turning around. And I walk into work and they call me into the office and they say, "Jeff, we've got bad news for you." And I knew right away. I started shaking. I started crying. And they're like, "California didn't give you a sales license. They've revoked your temporary sales license. You can no longer work here. You can no longer be in sales." I remember that moment. It was difficult. It was really difficult. But what I remember now about that moment was the story that I began to tell myself. I began to tell myself that there was no hope. I began to revert back to the negative mindsets. I began to feel the pain of that and really began to panic and struggle. And so for the next month or so, I really didn't know what to do. I didn't understand how I was going to get through this. How was I going to make a decent amount of money, right, to pay my bills that I already just started occurring? And who was going to hire me? Who was going to hire me just 2 years out of prison? And really my mindset was the only thing that I could do was sell cars. And so I fell into depression. I fell back into my old mindsets because ultimately I hadn't really healed my awareness to my belief systems and my ability to co-create reality. I didn't really fully understand how my thoughts about what the future may hold or how my thoughts about myself or the situation. I didn't understand fully how that was impacting my life quite yet. And so I struggled and I struggled and I applied to job after job after job. And there was just, I think because ultimately there was a belief system that I had that it was going to be bad, right? That this was not good. And so I began to panic. And I began to really fall into a slight depression. And I haven't talked about it a lot, but I reverted back to old behaviors. The depression became strong. I had felt like a failure. I felt like I was never going to be able to change my life. I felt like the system was against me. I felt like the world was against me. I felt like the universe was against me. I was mad. I was angry. I was like, here I am trying to do the right thing, trying to change my life, right? This was the story that I was telling myself. Because I couldn't get past that mindset of like being the victim to my situation and my circumstance. And so I started gambling like I used to. And I started taking the little money I had and I started going to the casino to see if I could change my luck. And I found heartache there. I found failure there. And then that failure compounded inside of me. It compounded the feeling of being a failure, right? It wasn't that I was just, that life was falling apart and it wasn't fair, right? In my mind, it wasn't fair. Like, how is this fair to me? That was my mindset. And rightfully so, it hurt. It hurt. I felt like it was stripped from me. I felt like, the state was doing me dirty. I felt like it wasn't fair. But I chose to revert back to the behaviors that weren't serving to me, including what I would call a couple relapses. They weren't long. It was like a one night here and a one night here. But I reverted back to the behaviors that would soothe me in this struggle. And it all ultimately created more struggle. It ultimately created more heartache inside of me. It ultimately created more destruction. Because now, here we are 2 months after I lost my job, and I'm being forced to basically give up. And I'm sharing this with you because this was my mindset then, right? This was a failure for me at the time. So I had to figure out, what am I going to do? I had no income, I had no finances, and I couldn't seem to get a job. And so I did what I had to do. I had to go and I had to move back to New York at 41 years old to live with my mom and my dad and to sleep on their couch. But the hardest thing was that I had to say goodbye to my children, right? I had to retreat. Looking back, it was about my mindset. It was about the awareness to my beliefs about myself and what was possible. But this is where I was at that time, just 2 years ago. During that time, before I lost my job, I started to drink again. I was dating someone that probably wasn't healthy for me. Not probably, definitely wasn't healthy for me. So those are all part of the failures, right? The things that created my circumstances. It's all part of the mix of the bag. So I retreated and I drove back to New York with my car and all my belongings. I had to leave my furniture in the apartment that I was at. All the money I had spent on new things, I just had to leave because I couldn't take it. And that's what I did. I moved back to New York, and I got back there in about February or March of 2019, completely broken again. And I'll never forget this day. I was just broken. I couldn't see how life was ever going to be what I thought it should be or could be. I didn't see how I was ever going to be happy or full of life, or how I was going to be the father that I needed to be. And one day I was literally just on the floor in my parents' apartment, or just completely devastated, holding my children's picture, crying, broken again. And I went up to my dad. I was having suicidal thoughts again. And I went up to my dad in his room and I said, "Dad, I just can't do this anymore. It's not fair. Everyone has it out against me. The system has it against me. The universe is against me. No matter how hard I try, it never seems to work. It seems to fail. I'm so sick and tired of life, the way that I am finding these failures in my life." And I didn't realize what was going on inside of me that was creating my struggles. Right? I was blaming everything except for taking accountability. I wasn't taking accountability for my own thoughts, for my own vision of what tomorrow looked like, because all I saw was brokenness. Because I was living in the memories of yesterday. I was living in the constant memories of what my life looked like and all of the failures and heartache and brokenness that I had lived through. And I couldn't get through and past that. And my father looked at me and he said, "Jeff, you got to learn to take the local, not the express." You know, and in that moment, I had an aha moment. I realized that my father, at 60-something years old, was being the father that I needed at 41 years old. He was still being a father to me, and I was 41 years old, and I realized that my fatherhood to my children was so much more than just the next year or 2 years. It was a lifetime of being a father. And so I began in that moment to look at the possibilities of what a year from now could look like, or 2 years from now. And from that moment, in about March of 2019, I began to do the inner work times 1,000. I had already been doing it, but I began to really dig deep and begin to look at the thoughts and the mindsets and the belief systems that I had about myself and about possibilities. And I began to meditate, and I began to understand the power of affirmations. I began to really believe that I still had an opportunity to recreate life. Something shifted inside of me. And I began to really go after the things of inner awareness, inner transformation, really looking at my limiting beliefs. I began to really dig deep into teachers and mentors and being coached and guided, and it was a slow process. You know, it's interesting. I was hiking today and I was climbing down the mountain, and I was like, man, from that moment to now seems like an eternity. It seems like a lifetime ago. And it's only been 2 years. It's only been 2 years almost to the day, and a couple months. So what happened? I began to believe that something could change. And I got a job selling cars in New York. And I really began to believe, and I started I am affirmations, right? I didn't feel it. I was overweight. I was out of shape. I was still smoking cigarettes. I was still drinking here and there. You know, I was still doing things that I shouldn't, you know, not on a regular, but things that I shouldn't do. I was still kind of dibbling and dabbling once in a while. But I continued to believe in myself. I continued to push forward, and I continued with understanding that if I would just engage with reprogramming or renewing my belief systems about myself, my mindsets, my understandings, my awareness, and I began to believe that anything was possible, right? That anything could shift. I am love. I am light. I am prosperous. I am wealthy. I am healthy. And I was far from feeling healthy. But I began to walk around where I was working at this small dealership in upstate New York. I would walk around the lot every day. I'd be walking around the lot in circles. I am healthy. I am wealthy. I am love. I am light. They thought some of the guys would make fun of me, like joking around, make fun of me. What are you doing, man? What are you doing, dude? Like, I'm changing my life. Yeah, okay, bro. Okay, man. Whatever. Sure you are. Right? I started drinking healthy water. I started incorporating healthy eating. I was still smoking cigarettes, still drinking occasionally, still doing a couple things that I shouldn't have been doing. But I continued. I continued. I continued. I continued. I am healthy. I am healthy. If I fell short or I did something, I continued believing that I could change. I am healthy. Walking around that parking lot. All of a sudden, I'm one of the best salespeople right away. Within 2 to 3 months, I get offered the finance job at that dealership. Unheard of to go from just a couple months of selling cars, having no finance experience, no sales management in the car industry, nothing, to becoming the finance manager within a couple months. Coincidence? I think not. It was about me beginning to believe, changing the mindset, changing the thoughts, changing, working on myself, meditating, eating healthier, drinking water, even when I was smoking a cigarette, still believing, still doing the work. If I fell short, kept pushing. People laughed at me. People didn't take me serious. I would write things on Facebook. I'd get 2 comments, 3 comments, maybe 5 comments. And I started visioning different things. I started believing in the possibilities. From there, I get offered a finance manager job at one of the best Honda dealerships in the state of New York. My salary doubled immediately. I move in January of 2020 to this new location because where I took over prior, I was excelling. I had brought the numbers to numbers that they had never seen. Like within my first month, when I was the finance manager originally, my first month, I brought them to a number in that dealership that they had not seen ever, or one of the highest months that they had ever seen my first month. Coincidence? Or change in beliefs, change in awareness, change in understanding. The work that I was doing. So I get the new opportunity, right? It was an amazing opportunity. And I go to, and I move and I go take this job. So now I'm off my parents' couch. I'm moving into my own place, right? I'm starting to create things and opportunities. And I start doing really well at this place. But inside of me, I knew that there was more, right? I had always known that there was more, that there was something that I was supposed to be doing of service to humanity. I knew this a few years before that, and actually really a long time, but I never really understood how I was going to get there or what I was going to do. I remember I started talking again about, just like I did in 2018 at the other dealership, that I was going to be a life coach and that I was going to have my own podcast. No one paid attention to what I said. Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, you're going to be a life coach. Okay. But I knew. And so what happened was the car business began to eat at my soul. I began really struggling when I went home at night, being just drained energetically. It was eating at my soul. It wasn't serving the highest version of myself. But I continued to stay focused in gratitude and appreciation for what I had, right? The opportunity that I was given. I really tried to be the best that I could be. And I would say that anybody that knew me at this dealership would say that that is true. That I came to work every day trying to uplift people, trying to be the best person that I could, bringing a positive energy. Anybody that worked with me would say that that is true. I brought high energy. I brought my heart, I brought my soul to work every single day. I wanted to see people smile. I wanted to see people happy because that's who I am. And I continued to do the inner work, and I continued to have struggles and on and off with cigarettes and this and that. But I continued to do the work. I continued to progress. I continued to work on myself. 20 pounds overweight. Still no consistency in certain areas of my life. No exercise in my life. Still forms of depression and anxiety in my life. But I continued to believe and push and work on my mindset, work on my awareness, right? I continued to share. So many people know that have followed me for the past few years. You've seen me talk about depression. You've seen me share my struggles. You've seen me share my beliefs as the time has gone on. You've heard me tell the story about changing our mind, and I think at some level some people were like, yeah, whatever. And I don't think, I know, because of the discernment that I have, the gift that I have. In August, I decided, after having an experience spiritually with my Creator, with what I would call God, I decided that it was time for me to leave the car business and move back to California again to be near my children. This is just August of 2020. And so I sold all my furniture. I got everything squared away. I bought a new car, packed it up, and moved out. This time I had some money saved up. I got an apartment. Things were different. I had learned from the first point, right? So I had learned from my failures at certain levels. Does that mean I didn't make mistakes? Sure, no. But I don't gamble, right? I learned the lessons from the failures of 2018. And I believed in myself because there was a few months ago where I was presented an opportunity for a job. But in my gut, in my being, I knew that I was called to be a life coach, to have an impact on humanity, to start a podcast, to do this work. I knew that this was my purpose. I knew that this was my calling. I knew this is my destiny to be who I am right now and to grow into this and to continue to expand. And yet, I didn't know how I was going to pay rent. I didn't know how I was going to do this. Right? It became a struggle because there's this transition time where it's like, okay, I'm all in or am I not? And so I started applying for jobs. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, how I was going to do it. And I was offered a job to sell windows. A 6-figure job for one of the best window makers to sell windows. And I was like, do I really want to wake up every day? For me, this is for me, and go sell windows, knowing the gift that I have and the purpose on my life and the calling. Like, this is this was like 4 months ago. This is my moment. Like, and yet I was afraid. Well, what if I fail again? Right? What if I fail? Then what? And I had to believe that I had learned, that I knew what was inside of me, that I knew what the purpose of my life is. I had to learn from the experience of the failure of 2018 when I came out here and had to retreat. I couldn't let that mistake be made again. Again, it doesn't mean I made perfect choices, but I've believed in myself, and because of the work that I did, that I've been doing for the past 3-4 years, it's transformed. I'm in the best health physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually that I have been in my adult life. In my entire adult life, right now, right here, as I share this podcast, I am in the best shape physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally that I have ever been in my adult life. Those tears in 2018 made me stronger. They taught me something. That brokenness, that failure, I use it now to fuel what I have learned. I'm able to glean from those failures. So that job, at the last minute, I said, I'm all in for me. I can't do that. That's not my purpose. My purpose is not to go sell windows. My calling is not to go sell windows. I can't give you my energy. I can't do it. I can't do it. And now, as I sit here, the beginnings of my transformational life coaching business and just all of it is beginning to really blossom. I'm seeing success that's incredible. I'm helping other humans live their best life. So it's been from my failures in life that I am sitting here today, right? Those failures have taught me success. Because to me now, success is happiness, joy, health, coaching my son, spending time with my children, helping other people, serving other people, sharing content. This is why I'm so passionate about what I do. This is why I share what I share. This is why I speak about what I speak, because it has been proven in my life that it is real, that it is true. I am healthy. I wasn't 2 years ago, but I sure the heck started telling myself I was, because if you change your mind, you change your life. I don't know where you're at. I don't know where you're at. I really don't. Maybe you are living life to the fullest. I mean, you've got everything you need, everything you want, and you are happier than a pig in shit. Man, I am so ecstatic for you, and I hope that you share how you did that to other people, because they need your wisdom. They need your insight. They need to know, because people are hurting. People are hurting. People are struggling because they don't understand their own divinity within them. They don't understand how powerful they are. They don't understand that the story that we tell ourselves is what creates our reality. Maybe you struggle in just one area. Maybe you struggle in this. Maybe you struggle in that. Listen, addiction is not just drugs, not just alcohol, not just cigarettes. It's sex, it's anger, it's frustration, it's eating, it's yelling, it's complaining, it's gossiping. It's all of the things that we do when we're operating from an unhealthy mindset and belief system about who we are, and when we're not fully aware of our value system and our worth. I still struggle, right? That's why I'm still doing the work every day. I don't think we ever arrive. I'm still growing. I'm still, today I went for a hike this morning like I normally do. And I had in my headphones for 2 hours, because that's what it takes me to do this hike. I had I am affirmations. I am prosperous. I am healthy. I am love. I am all of it. I am vibrant. I am energetic. I am healing. I am this, right? Working on my beliefs, working on my mindset, working on my thought life, bringing awareness to the things that I blame others for. How can I serve humanity? How can I serve my clients? How can I be the best father in the world? How can I serve my children? How can I use my energy where it needs to go? What boundaries do I need to set? Who should I let into my life and into my circle, and who shouldn't I? Which version of myself do I need to let go of? What fears are keeping me from moving forward? What mistakes do I need to own and be accountable for and grow through? How do I respond to my children? How do I respond to the person that cuts me off? How do I treat the person at the when I drive through Starbucks? What do I think about the homeless person when I drive past them? What do I believe about myself? Do I like me? This is my work. This is what I do. This is who I am. This is what I do 24/7. And I've learned to be gentle and patient with myself, just like I would with my children. To know when to be tough and when not to. By the way, for the first time in my life, I have not smoked a cigarette for almost a year. Since, I think, August. I haven't used nicotine. I can't remember the last time I've had a drink. I think the same time period, August. Does that mean I'll never have another glass of wine or another drink? No, because I don't put those confinements on my life. But I just don't want it. I don't need it. It doesn't, for me, and this isn't about drinking or anything. I'm just saying, for me, this is how much growth. This is huge growth for me in my life. And it started before 2018, really when I got out of prison in 2016, which is those 2 years is a whole nother story of struggle and heartache. But from 2018, when I was putting the work in, walking around that dealership every day when I was at work and I had spare time, I was walking around. I was drinking water and people would make fun of me. Why are you drinking that water? I was changing my diet, eating vegetables instead of meat. Why are you doing that? Because I'm changing my life. Because I want to be healthy. Because I want to live. I want to be vibrant. I want to be whole. Walking around that dealership, I am abundant with not 2 cents in my pocket. I am healthy, overweight, smoking cigarettes, eating like shit, feeling depressed and anxiety. I am healthy. I am healthy. I am healthy. And feeling it, beginning to feel it. I am abundance. I am abundance. Right? Changing the way that I thought about myself. Man, so I didn't really know what was going to come out tonight, but I want to leave you, and I'm going to see if there's a few comments that I can maybe take here for a few minutes. I want to leave you with this. I was 41 years old, maybe 42. I'm 44 right now, just turned 44. And I was sleeping on my mom and dad's couch. Not sure what I was going to do with my life. But I knew I had something inside of me. I had to believe that there was something there. I had to hope. I had to hold on to something. And for me, my no quit, and I think we all have to have it. Me, at first, it was my children. My no quit was my children. I couldn't give up. Could not give up because of my children. I am certain if it were not for my 2 sons that I probably would not be speaking right now. They gave me something to hold on to. And then it changed to learning to love myself and to really believe in myself. And now it's different because now I get to be someone that they can hold on to. And that's a work in progress still. I'm still healing a lot of the things that I created from my addiction and from all those years of struggle. But I get to be their rock. You have to have a why. It's got to be bigger than you. And from that, anything is possible. Your why has to be bigger than you. It has to be of service. It has to be something other than yourself. If you want to live that life, that dream life. A lot of people misunderstand self-love as being selfish. Self-love is an awareness of who I am, the divinity within me, the awareness of the I am. It's an awareness that I am valuable and I am worthy and I am loved. And from that place, I flow overfill. I am a cup full overflowing. It is not selfishness to understand that I am the full expression of God. I am the divine. Becoming aware of who we are and the power that we possess as co-creators of our reality is so important in my mind. In my mind. This is my belief. If it resonates with you, amazing. But from that place, from fullness, now I can serve. I can't serve from a half full cup. If I don't know who I am, if I don't love who I am, if I don't recognize the value and the worth that is inside of me, I cannot fully serve you. I cannot love you unless I love me. And those outside of us will only love us as much as we can love ourselves. I'm so excited because the next 10, 20, 30 years, 40 years of my life are going to be incredible. With the grace of the Creator that every morning I take a breath. That is the grace that every one of us are given every day when we wake up. We take the breath of grace. We are given the breath of grace every morning we wake up with a breath. And I'm grateful for grace because I recognize that it is upon my life. There are times that maybe I should not have made it, but here I sit, and I do not take the grace of my Creator, of God, lightly. I am grateful for where I am, and I am aware of grace. The breath of the Ruach, the breath of life, is the grace of God. And I am eternally grateful. So I want to see if there's a few people here. I don't know who's on here. I'm going to see if there's a few people. I want to see if I can answer maybe a couple questions. I think it's on a delay too. So let's see if I can answer a couple questions. If you guys want to go ahead and comment in the comment section, a question or a comment, I would love to answer. Or if not, I just want to say thank you for spending this time with me. Wishing Erin healthy vibes, sending her some love and some healthy energy, because again, she's not feeling well. And yeah, I am so grateful for all of you. What time will I be on? I need to fit you in my schedule. We will be on every Tuesday evening at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And thank you, Tina. You can find us on Instagram as well. You can find us at Rise and Start Shining _podcast. Make sure that you check me out at Instagram, Jeff Walsh Breaking Chains, or Facebook, Jeff Walsh Breaking Chains. Even on TikTok, it's JW Breaking Chains. And again, I really appreciate your time listening to this. I hope that it inspires you. I hope that it motivates you. I hope it helps you to see that it doesn't matter where you're at, right? It doesn't matter what the circumstance is. But one of the things that I had to learn was that change takes time. You know, it's a process. And in the beginning, it sucked. It really did. Because you don't see the change really quick, right? You don't see, you're like, man, what is it? But you keep believing, you keep going, and then all of a sudden things start to click. You start to see this and this and this and this, and then you start having these synchronicities, and then all of a sudden blessings and this and that. And then you get to step into what I say, the permission to feel that life is a blessing. That life is happening for you, not to you. So, namaste, my friends. Let's live life to the fullest. And I love you. I thank you for all your support. I thank you for watching us. I thank you for sharing this out, right? I thank you for all that you all do. I thank you to each and every one of my clients who I absolutely love and appreciate. And thank you to my co-host Erin, who is just an incredible human being, who is so powerfully gifted and talented, and she is really helping in so many areas with my own growth for this vision. And I'm looking forward to continuing to work with her. And make sure you check her out as well on Instagram at Happy Holidays Frankly Ferguson. And thank you for all of you listening on Apple and iHeart and Spotify. And make sure you come and join us live, again, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every Tuesday night. Love you. Be blessed.
Thank you for tuning in to Rise and Start Shining, a Breaking Chains podcast. You can follow us on our social media platforms through the links listed on the screen below. Remember to always rise and start shining and live your best life by breaking the chains that bind you. Inspiration, motivation, determination. Let's go.